Sometimes there's beauty in simplicity, and that's how I feel about this Ozark 2400 BHLE. It has a lot of clean lines, it has space for a family, nothing is overdone, but I just think everything is very functional in the way it is built and laid out. Let's start off with the kitchen, for example. I mean, you take a look here, you see that there's big open countertop space right here. They still allow for a large sink, a 3-burner cooktop, and you're getting the pressed countertop. Right down underneath is a ton of excellent storage. Look at this. You have drawers on drawers, drawers for days. You know, nothing super fancy about it, but it's just good. Just a lot of storage all built in right there. Going down even further, you see that all of the heat ducts are built into furniture so that you don't have any dirt getting down into ducts in the flooring. Coming back up, you know, we'll see that the sink itself actually has a glass rinser. It's not the most simple thing, but I really do like that addition. I think I would definitely use it a lot. A lot of things that they did put in here, if it is kind of an extra feature, is just for extra functionality. Now, this one is one I'm still confused on. I'm not 100% certain what this is. It seems to me like a spot to hang key rings. And then up here, maybe a paper towel holder. Maybe it's supposed to be for a cookbook. Maybe it's supposed to be for a tablet or a phone. Maybe you're supposed to put charging cords on here. It's supposed to be like a charging station. I'm not completely sure. Let me know what you think it is. I would like to hear it. Sound off in the comments and let's talk a little bit about it. TV is going to go right up here. This is a removable mount as well in case you want to hook it up outside. And then the attachments to hook all that up is going to be right up on the ceiling. And speaking of ceiling, you have 84-inch ceiling height. Again, you know, is it something that's like super revolutionary? No, but the fact that I am 6 foot tall and I have all this space makes this RV that doesn't have a slide just feel super open. And when you have all that extra height, you can do things like get bigger windows for a backsplash. A lot of manufacturers in the kitchen backsplash, the window's like this big. Here, it's massive and it lets in a ton of natural light and you still have storage up top. They just did everything well. Down underneath the sink, just kind of want to show you, just so you know, there are some components down there, so you only get the top half, but again, it's still going to be sufficient for a lot of like your cleaning chemicals. And then you get the 3-burner cooktop. Underneath that is actually a microwave, is a convection microwave. You kind of have the combo. It's actually a 3-way. They say it can grill as well. I've never used it, so I can't speak to it, but they say microwave, convection, and grill, and somehow you can do a combo of any 2 of those at the same time, or at least microwave with the other 2. I'm not sure. I'd like to see it in action. If you have it and you've used it, let me know how the grill function works. I'm super curious. Then here in the back are going to be the double bunks. You have USB ports in both. This does fold up, and you want to talk about storage. Holy smokes, there is massive amounts of storage back here. You know, good spot for any like dirty laundry, all your extra bags, things you don't have space for. There's a heat duct back here, so if you have a pet that's coming with you, a dog or a cat, they can sleep under here. There is not access from the outside, which I think, in my opinion, is a slight miss. But again, you know, I understand trying to keep price down a little bit, and it is still a good usable space. Just would have liked to have seen that. Something else I do want to mention, even though it's not necessarily a full privacy door because you do have a gap here, the door jamb is framed out in wood, and there are not a lot of manufacturers doing this at all, especially at this price point. I really like to see that it is framed out in wood. It just makes the door open and close a heck of a lot easier. Here in the corner is going to be the vanity. Sorry, this is just because it's been winterized. Normally it would not come with a balloon, but you have your single post faucet there, a little bit of storage underneath, mirrored medicine cabinet up top, and then as I take a step in the shower, again at 6 foot tall, I have so much extra space. There's even a skylight up here, and it's a wider shower pan, so I can turn sideways, close the curtain, and I'm not fighting with it. I can actually take a shower in here, which is nice. And because this one has the on-demand tankless water heater, it's also going to be a decent shower, right? It's not going to be a 5-minute shower. I can take a 20, 30, 40-minute shower if I want to in there. You can see you have the Furion 12-volt compressor-driven refrigerator. This one is 10 cubic foot of cold storage, and right next to that is the large pantry with plenty of storage in there, and again, everything in here has magnetic catches. Now, Coming over to the furniture piece, what you will see is you have an L-shaped sofa. This is a jackknife sofa, But I kind of like what they've done. They kept the bottom completely open, which does give you a nice storage space for the table. You can obviously pop that up if you need. But if you don't want it in there, or if you want to be able to rearrange some things, you might be able to fit that underneath the bed or in the pass-through. You can actually load this up with some totes underneath as well, which is also nice. And if you have any adult guests that come over and they need a place to spend the night and there's not room in the bunks, you can remove these back cushions and you can have an adult lay on here. It is going to be plenty long for just about anyone I know. And so you, again, even though it's not necessarily meant to sleep extras, you can do it, which I like. Storage all the way across the top and a huge window there too, folks. That's one thing I have to say about this floor plan is there are so many big windows and it just lets in a ton of light. Coming into the bedroom, this one does have a slider door, and then right here in the center, now this is going to be a custom king. The manufacturer is calling it a king bed, but it is 66 by 80 inches. So it's kind of like halfway between a queen and a king, but that's what we got, a 66 by 80 inch custom king bed. Underneath is huge, and I mean huge storage. It is not strut supported, so just bear that in mind when you open it. But strut supports kind of have their issues too. If you put like a mattress topper on it, a lot of times it's too heavy, it doesn't work. So anyway, but this is fine. And you can see you have several different access points to it. We'll actually see it when we go outside too. But you can access from right here. You can access from your pass-through, and both sides underneath your nightstands will be access all to that same storage area. You'll also see this, and I really like that this is cut out right here. It gives you a spot if you want to put shoes in here, you can do that. If you just want some extra bins, you can throw that there. Really just gives you some versatility in storage. Both sides of the bed are going to have wardrobe and covered storage up top, which is great because you can put, like underwear, socks, things like that in there. And if you do want a TV in the bedroom, right here is where that can be mounted. Let's talk a little bit about construction here on the Ozark, starting off with the tires. What we're looking at are 205, 75, R14 tires, and those are going to be D load range. It's also going to have underslung axles, so the RV will sit lower, which means it will be a little more stable. You'll have an easier time towing it down the road, get a little less headwind, but because of that, you will have less overall clearance. The underbelly is going to be fully enclosed, insulated, and heated, helping to keep critters out and hopefully keep things a little bit warmer when it's late fall or early spring. The aluminum siding they use is currently the best in the industry. Not only does it have a protective coating on it, it's also going to be thicker than a standard aluminum, which means that it has less chance of any kind of dents. Plus, it just looks a whole heck of a lot nicer. Behind that will be R7 insulation, and then if we go up top, this one does have a 3/8 inch fully walkable roof. On top of that is going to be a TPO roof membrane that is 35 mil. So let's get into the weights on this bad boy. Starting off, dry weight is 5,302 pounds as equipped. Your GVWR is 7,715. That's given us roughly 2,400 pounds of carrying capacity, which is significant. So what that means is what you're gonna be able to tow this with will greatly vary. Can you do it with like a Pathfinder with a 6,000 pound tow rating? Maybe, but you're really gonna be pushing it. I really would recommend something that has at least 7,000 pound of tow capacity, maybe 6,500 to be able to tow this bad boy effectively. Talking about some features right up front, this one does just have a manual jack. Behind that is a 20-pound propane tank. You'll see two rails here, or two rail systems for batteries. Then underneath is a battery disconnect, so you can just turn that off and stop any kind of drain on the battery. You'll see the diamond etched kind of front end here, helping protect that front end, and above that is this smooth aluminum front, which not only looks nice, but is also easier to clean than the ribbed aluminum. Coming around to the side, we talked about this aluminum during the construction phase, but again, as I mentioned, it is currently the highest grade aluminum you can get in the RV industry, and I'm glad they're using it. You'll also see right here, you have a solar prep. So if you have like a briefcase style solar system, you can plug it in right there. The pass-through storage has a magnetic catch, and if we take a look inside, we can kind of see that pass-through. We saw it under the bed. This gives you a little bit better angle, and as I mentioned, there are several different access points, both on this side of the RV, the other side underneath the bed, and you can see on both sides of the bed, you have these access doors, so just all sorts of different ways to access that same storage space. Making our way back a little bit, we can see the power awning with an LED light strip right over the door as you would expect to get into said door. You have the large foldable grab handle just to give you that extra control and standard steps here, which these are going to be the preferred steps if you build a deck. If not, then most people do prefer the solid steps, but it's kind of, you know, 6 one, half dozen another, right? It's just about how you plan to use your RV. Right here is a tankless water heater. We talked about that inside. Love that addition. You will also see electrical outlet. Your fresh tank fill will be located right there. I talk about this sometimes, but I don't mind if the fresh tank fill is there. Don't love it when the city water is because it gets everywhere. I also do want to point out the size of this window, folks. This is that one in the kitchen. You can see it is a huge window, just lets a ton of natural light in. And again, you're able to get those bigger windows thanks to that higher overall height. It's also worth mentioning, I know I talked about the enclosed underbelly. I did forget to talk about the fact this one has accessibelly, which means essentially that they cut that into pieces so you don't have to drop the entire underbelly. If you need to access or service anything, you can just take out one piece, which is great for serviceability. You have your square tubular bumper on the back. Mounted to that is a spare tire. It is a full-size spare. So that way, if you do have any kind of blowout, you can swap it out and be right on the road. You can be good to go so you can get a new one. I do like that because that way it doesn't interrupt the trip quite as much as if you had an actual spare where you have to get it replaced ASAP. Then right up top in the center, you can see that there is a backup camera prep. If you want a backup camera over to this side here is your Lippert ladder prep. You can pick that ladder up from a Camping World. It's going to be an adjustable ladder. You can attach it right to that. That will let you climb up onto the fully walkable roof. Fully walkable because underneath that TPO layer is a 3/8 inch decking allowing you to walk across it. Cable outlet will be located right back here. Termination right down below. And then coming up a little bit from that, a black tank flush on the bottom, city water inlet above that. You'll also see 30 amp detachable power cord will plug in right here. Now, if you're looking for something that maybe has a little bit different look to it, maybe you want a slide out, something a little more room, well, then check out this Silver Lake 2700BH, maybe what you're looking for.